Yo, what's going on everyone? Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and today we're checking out Rambo 3, but for the arcade.
Released in 1988, Rambo 3 came out on the arcade, the Amiga, the Amstrad. Ow! Ow! What? Already?
Last video, you said all those goddamn things and I had to edit it in. No more!
Ha! You can just copy and paste. How about that, bitch? Ow! Alright. Anyway, we're doing the arcade version. Developed by Taito, came out in 1989, and yeah, that's about all I got for it. Let's just get into it. Alright, the graphics. Definitely not the worst looking thing in the world. It's really simple though. A lot of the backgrounds can almost be basically one color because one level you're fighting in a cave and another one you're fighting in a desert, so not a lot of variety there. The enemy types are very much repeated. The detail themselves is pretty good, so that's a plus. And nothing's inherently bad looking, it's just you're going to see a lot of the same stuff repeated all throughout the game, whether it be enemies, backgrounds, blah blah blah. So, long story short, we gave it 6s. Just enough to be above average. And as far as beer goes, hell, I'll give 1 beer for these beautiful looking cutscenes. The music again is not bad. In a weird way, it kind of sounds like something you'd hear on the Sega Genesis. It's big, it's loud, it's tinny and bassy at the same time. You only get maybe 3 different tracks tops, so that's kind of a disappointment. And another thing is, it's hard to hear them because of all the goddamn shooting, explosions, screams of dead soldiers. The sound effects really overtake the package. The sound effects, though, are big, loud, and bombastic, just what you would expect to hear. But the whole thing can really just start to be grating on the ears after a while. We felt it's a perfectly fine package, and that's why we gave it 5s. And as far as beer goes, I'll add 2 beers. 1 for all that damn bass you hear, and 2 for all that tinny music.
When talking about the control, let's get it out in the open. Chances are, if you're playing this game, you're doing it on your computer through a MAME. And unless you have the arcade stick plug-in, it's gonna be a little bit of an annoyance to control, but the game is so goddamn simplistic that all you're doing is running back and forth and tapping the shoot button. Now, you can very quickly get an upgrade to switch over to fully automatic, so it takes a lot of the guesswork away. I love that it was so goddamn simplistic, but I can say my thumb was killing me on some of these missions when I didn't have full auto. But really, when the control scheme is this simplistic, we had to give it a 9. The only real reason we couldn't give it a 10 was that sometimes the hitboxes kind of felt out of tune. To us, that's more of a control issue, even though it could be gameplay, but what the hell. And as far as beer, I'm just gonna give myself 1, just because I had to beat this goddamn game without a joystick.
Ah, sucker! Ow!
Well, just like Rambo 3 for the Sega Genesis, this is just a stupid fun game. You can play with 2 players, one of you being Rambo and the other being Troutman. You can guess which one of us was Troutman.
Hey!
It was Jim.
Hey!
And
Bullshit!
and it's just stupid fun. You shoot, you run back and forth like I mentioned in the control. You do get a few power-ups. You can get a room-clearing arrow. You can get health. But it's all completely random. Like, there's no guaranteed drops. And as I mentioned, I beat this game, and holy hell was the last level brutal. With that randomization of those items, it can get really tough, but since you're probably playing on a MAME, there's no excuse not to keep continuing. I guess the last thing I'll mention before going to the scores, you do have the option of switching over to your bow, like I said, which will give an explosion, but they're limited until you get those randomized ass power-ups. And they tried to do some variations on the levels, like this bike level where you can jump on little sand dunes, but it's still just a vertically scrolling rail shooter. So as you see from our scores, we both gave it 6s. Probably higher than it deserves, but what can I say? Jim and I, we drink beer, we like stupid fun, and this game has it in spades. And as far as beer, I'm gonna add 2. 1 for Rambo and 1 for Troutman.
This game may be stupid fun, but it is also not original. Actually, we had a hard time coming up with anything original about it. You've seen games like this all over the place throughout the history of arcades. So, what's original here? Well,
it's the only Rambo arcade game.
Well, I think one came out much later. There's one in Dave & Buster's right now. Ah! It's almost kind of the same. It's a rail shooter again. Anyway, you can be Troutman. This is one of the first ones where you can be Troutman, not goddamn Zane. So, I guess we can give it points there. And there's a bike scene. You can be on a motorcycle. So, pew pew pew. Alright, what can I say? There's not a lot of originality here, but at least they give you the bike part to almost trick you into thinking something different's happening. We gave it 2s. And as far as beer goes, I'll give it 2 beers. Just for being so goddamn cut and paste.
Replayability I'll keep super short. It's a multiplayer game, so it gets an automatic 5, and other than that, it is a hard son of a bitch, but it only becomes unrelenting in the last level, so we didn't feel it earned any other points. We both gave it 5s. Had you played this game in the arcade, you probably wasted a shit ton of quarters, and I feel sorry for you. So I'm gonna add 1 beer for all of you poor bastards who wasted your money trying to beat this game just to see this shitty ending. So overall, just like Rambo 3 for the Sega, like I said during the gameplay, Jim and I actually enjoyed this.
It was fun!
It's mindless fun. If you got 20, 30 minutes, you could get to the last level. I'm not going to guarantee you're going to beat it.
Pew pew! Get! Ow! Ow!
But it is one to try, especially if you just want mindless shooting and everything you kind of would expect from a Rambo game. It's not bad. So as you see from our scores, we both gave it 6s. It's something that we may come back to just to dick around with, but there's not a lot of depth to this game. So when we combined all of our scores together, it rounds out to a 6.4. That's pretty much what we feel it deserves. However, we would fully understand if other people would look at this game and think, how could you give it that high of a score? When it comes to the beer pairing, I'm going to have to go with the Pennsylvania Brewing Company's Penn Dark Lager. This is one damn delicious Munich Dunkel Lager, and if you've never tried it, then you wouldn't know how good it is. We just felt that we wanted to pair something that wasn't too strong, but offered you a good amount of flavor, and something that's going to help you get through those hard times, like that last fucking level. And remember to drink your beers and play your games responsibly. As always, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, or better yet, why not subscribe? Till next time, guys, cheers.